major occasion in the football calendar has been marred by the terror events in Corsica only 24 hours ago when so many football fans died. But the mood of the French nation is that this game should go ahead. It's a very difficult situation for the Monaco players, preparing for the biggest moment in their careers, knowing that their nation is in mourning. Nothing, of course, can compensate for the tragic loss of life. But their wish now is to become the first French team ever to win a European trophy, and so try to bring a little light to the darkness over their nation. Monaco have 3 players from the African continent and a Portuguese international, Rui Barros, a great favourite here, and a man who will certainly ensure that Monaco get the support of the locals in Lisbon. Werder Bremen are one of the most consistent teams in the German Bundesliga. They always seem to finish in the top 5, and they won the championship itself 4 years ago. It's a pretty old and experienced squad, and their overseas stars are from Norway, Czechoslovakia, and they have the New Zealand international Winton Rufer, who spent a short time at Norwich City after playing for New Zealand in the 1982 World Cup finals. So we're underway then in the 1992 final of the European Cup Winners' Cup here in the famous Stadium of Light in Benfica. Werder Bremen playing from left to right in the white shirts and green shorts. Monaco from France in the red and white. And they're pretty useful from corners, and a pretty useful one it was too. A good test for Rollman, the reserve goalkeeper, and then Weyer, who was left unmarked in the middle, just flashed his foot out at it really after Deeb had caused the initial problem. And they must have been anxious moments for Jürgen Rollman, who is not the first choice keeper, I remind you, for Werder Bremen. He's in because Oliver Reck, the regular goalkeeper, is suspended. Certainly the early signs are that Werder Bremen look very edgy indeed. Volta letting that one run through. Weyer taking on the defender and beating him. And gets it back. And certainly as Volta came flying in for the tackle then, the tall Georges Weyer looked really dangerous. Well, the opening moments of any European final, always an anxious time, but the way Werder Bremen have started this has almost always already given the psychological upper hand to the French team. Sonal right behind it, found Fofana, then Passy couldn't control it, and they really haven't managed to cross the halfway line apart from the goalkeeper's long kick a few moments ago, Werder Bremen. Blocked by Petit and then by Passy, and the foul in fact against the German player. Petit getting it forward, nice flick on them by Fofana. Now he's quick if he can get in behind defenders, he's quick and dangerous, and that was an excellent cross, and perhaps his teammates didn't quite get there as swiftly as he did. Youssouf Fofana, the 21-year-old, or 25-year-old rather, from the Ivory Coast, who starred for his country in the African Championships. And a long ball by Borowska, but offside. Frank Neubarth got himself too far forward then. Well, this final really ought to provide us with a fascinating contrast in styles between the organisation and efficiency of Werder Bremen and the style and rather more off-the-cuff methods of Monaco. The first French finalist ever in this competition, and remember, no French team has ever won any of the major 3 European trophies. Free kick has gone Werder Bremen's favour, I think. No, the referee has seen it the other way. Petit swinging it in. Weah, the target on the far side. Narco in behind him. It comes back to Valeri. That was a good-looking cross. Mendy gets it straight back in again. And certainly the better football at the moment being played by the French team. And they've got a free kick. Now on the little man, Rui Barros, the Portuguese international, a great favourite here. Although he in fact played for Porto, the big rivals of Benfica, on whose ground this match is being played. Defeat swinging it in, far post again. Oh, and that was danger for the moment as Mendy came in to join the attackers. He's only got a couple of goals this season, although one of those did come in fact in this competition. The 32-year-old central defender reacting very quickly here, and the goalkeeper got there a little late. The best opening of the match so far then for Monaco. Well, with 20 minutes gone, there's no doubt that Monaco have settled the better of the two sides, despite the difficulty of their preparations. Talking to their coach, Arsene Wenger, before the match, he was telling me how much of a problem it had been for the French players trying to get themselves in the right frame of mind for this match in view of the awful events in Corsica last night. Indeed, many of the players had some personal friends amongst the journalists, particularly, who were amongst those injured in that terrible incident. But you'd never have guessed that from the way they've started this match. But there's a good-looking ball inside the Fockenfeld, and that was good goalkeeping by Ettori. He doesn't want to take too many risks in that position and didn't in the end.
As Weah plays a good little ball forward to Rui Barros. And that was an excellent effort by the little Portuguese international. Well, I think the home supporters here will give him a fantastic reception if he does manage to score tonight. But I don't think there's much hope of Volta recovering. And indeed, the substitute out of the picture at the moment is on. There he is, number 15. So that's a blow for Bremen, losing a player here in the first half. And they might even lose a goal as well to the resultant corner. Monaco have looked really dangerous so far from their corner kicks, and the goalkeeper got a very unimpressive punch on that. Deeb gets in there, and in the end it was Boda who cleared his lines to Rufa, who couldn't control it, and the pressure continues. Sonor playing it forward to Weah, trying to get it back to him, and a desperate challenge again. Wins possession back for Werder Bremen. This is Winton Rufa, and a good tackle on him by Deeb was enough to win the ball back. It's a good period this for Monaco. They're looking impressive now. They've been under pressure for much of this game. Excellent work though by Praxas to win it back then, but he's lost out once more, and Valeri and Deeb couldn't make the most of it. And Alos with a ball to Boda that should never have worked, but has done so, and it wasn't a bad effort.
George Weah in the middle. So into the final 5 minutes of the first half here in Lisbon. Still Werder Bremen 0, Monaco 0, but Bremen 0. Can I take it out? And who else but the man who is one of the most famous strikers in the whole history of German football, has stolen a goal right at the end here for Werder Bremen. Klaus Allert. 5 minutes to half-time. Against the winner play it may be, but the man who has scored more goals in the German league than anyone still playing has stolen a vital lead here. It was a mistake by Mendy. He really ought to have got there, the tall central defender. Good header by Winton Rufa to create the danger, but that looked to be Mendy's ball. Allert, who has done this 1,000 times in his career. Valeri finding Rui Barros. Good tackle by Alt. Free kick has been given though. Deeb. Weyer beaten to it. Passy playing it through again. And a good looking ball forward to Weyer, who pulls it back dangerously once more. And then the rather wild shot at the end of a promising looking movement. Narco really could have kept his head more then. He had more time than he realized. Jerome Narco. We're into the final minute of the half now. That was a curious kick out, which could have been embarrassing. Monaco's throw. But they've surely run out of time to draw level here at the end of the first half. We're well into stoppage time now. And Alofs wins it back again, and then a rather wild challenge by Buckenfeld. He went in with the boot very high there, and that was a little bit of revenge for an earlier clash between those two. That was a dangerous tackle by Buckenfeld. Surprised the referee didn't deem that worthy of a caution. Well, as Mendy plays it back to his goalkeeper, this could be the last opportunity in this half for Monaco to get the ball into Werder Bremen territory, and indeed it is, and not a good enough opportunity to do anything about that half-time scoreline. And Werder Bremen from Germany lead Monaco from France by 1-0 at half-time here in Lisbon. Klaus Alofs getting the goal 4 minutes before half-time. Monaco played the better football arguably in that first half, but Werder Bremen have got the vital lead. Back to the Stadium of Light, as it is famously known around the world, the home of Benfica Football Club here in Lisbon, as Monaco in red and white prepare to get the second half of the European Cup Winners' Cup final underway, trailing the German team Werder Bremen by 1-0 at the end of a first half in which they did most of the attacking, but unfortunately found themselves going behind 4 minutes before the interval to a goal by Klaus Alofs. And they're straight onto the attack again and forcing more problems for the German defenders. Thomas Schaap, who came on as a first half substitute, slicing that clearance into play. Sonor will take the early throw. Behind him, the massed ranks of the Monaco supporters, who must have been very surprised and disappointed to see their team going in a goal behind at half-time. The Germans haven't played that well, but they've looked hard to break down. Mendy, who probably should have done better with the Alofs goal. It looked a favourite for the defender to get the ball away, but Alofs, despite his 35 years, was a bit sharper and a bit quicker. Passy making a good-looking cross. Rui Barros almost got on the end of it. Back it goes again to Passy. And this is a good start to the second half by Monaco. Fofana playing it in. Narco heading it back towards Deeb. Well, he snatched at it a little bit then, Marcel Deeb. Incredibly, hasn't scored this season, although he has been a regular throughout the campaign. And perhaps when you saw the way he rather panicked then, you can understand why. He's not exactly a frequent goal scorer. Here's Deeb. Monaco's throw. Weyer. Passy getting there, Weyer's there again, and he got one or two lucky deflections. Passy with the shot, which was beaten clear. Deeb playing it back in. Rui Barros. And Passy gets a good-looking ball through the Fofana, and that was excellent defending. Last-ditch stuff, maybe, but Barovka was there to get the ball clear when it really looked like an equalising goal was on the cards. They really have started in positive fashion in the second half here, Monaco.
And unfortunate not to draw level then, perhaps. Here's Deeb. Werder got it clear. Turned on by Alofs. He was rather hoping that Winton Rufer or the other big forward Neubarth would have anticipated what he was trying to do then. And just as in the first half, Monaco have started by pinning the opposition back and were so close to a goal then. Got two defenders to get round here and inevitably couldn't do so. Here's by Werder. Deeb gets it away. Rufer doing well, and then Deeb in with another good challenge. And they've really picked up the pace here since the start of the second half, the French side. Oh, but Petit makes a terrible error. The ball given away to Alofs and through to Rufer. And he's onside here. He can clinch it here for Werder Bremen. Winton Rufer, and he has! It's 2-0 to the German side, and the New Zealand international, Winton Rufer, has scored the most important goal of his career. Well, thousands and thousands of miles away, there'll be huge celebrations. I was talking to him before the match, and he was telling me that the game is being beamed live down to New Zealand, and his whole family and friends are watching and will have celebrated this moment as Rufer rounded the goalkeeper, and that beautiful sight of an empty net was awaiting him. So Winton Rufer, the young man who for a short time tried to carve himself a career in English football with Norwich City, never made it with them. Well, if that's the limit of the ambition of Monaco at the moment, you'd have to say they're not going to get back into this game. That really was a pretty poor effort, wasting possession. Good work by Yokayev. Otava playing it forward quickly. Alofs tries to beat the offside trap with a little through ball, but didn't do so. Rufer was offside. Yokayev playing it forward for Sono, who's got forward for the first time really in the entire game. And a useful looking cross. It's created a bit of danger, and Bratsev decided not to wait for his goalkeeper's intervention. Substitute ready for Werder Bremen. This is Narco for Monaco. Neubarth barring his way to goal. That really was all too easy for the goalkeeper and sums up the rather disappointing efforts that we've seen from Monaco tonight. Yokayev got no meat at all behind the shot. Petit getting it straight back. Clement, the substitute. Bockenfeld hammering it back. And that'll be a throw-in. And an opportunity for Werder Bremen to make their second substitution. Neubarth, the player who will be replaced by Stefan Kuhn. Scored 14 goals this season, Cohn, and a little bit unlucky not to make the starting lineup. 3 of them in this competition. Just the kind of player you want to be going on with a 2-0 lead and only a little over 15 minutes to go. He'll cause a few problems at the back for Monaco. Eve for Monaco. Again, they're a little bit too fanciful in possession at times, the French players, and tend to make mistakes, but this is a dangerous attack, and Werder wins the corner. Sharp got across well then to deny George Weah, the man who actually replaced Tony Hateley when he moved on from Monaco to Glasgow Rangers. Mark Hateley, I should say. His dad, Tony, was replaced quite a few years before he was. Good clearance off the line by Iltz. Rufer there. Weah denied. And he finds Alofs. And it looks as though there's to be no good fortune at all for the French team tonight. Werder Bremen lead by 2-0 here as we move into the final quarter of an hour. Hiltz as well to win it back. Got Bockenfeld outside him and eventually finds him. A good-looking ball into the substitute, and the substitute and Alofs got themselves a little confused then as the cross came over. They were both so anxious to try and reach it. Good header away by Bratzer. It's a good run though. Come on. Hassi with the shot, and they've taken a little deflection, but the referee didn't see it that way. Goal kick. Monaco, Petit, and now Sonor. A huge firecracker is ignited on the far side of the stadium by the Werder Bremen fans. And they can afford that early celebration, I'm sure. Monaco for Monaco. Going through the motions a little bit now. But that's a good-looking ball, and Weah is through and onside. Well, it was a difficult ball to stretch to reach. In all fairness, it was played in well ahead of him. But Weah, who scored 23 goals this season, 4 of them in this competition, in fact 2 of them against Swansea in the opening round, has not really had a clear-cut opportunity in this game. Ball played forward for Cohen down this left-hand side. Mendy somehow finds the strength to get there. And that's it. It's all over. The celebrations can begin in Germany. Werder Bremen, in their first ever European final, have beaten Monaco by 2-0 to win the European Cup Winners' Cup. Klaus Alofs, in the swan song of his marvellous career, giving them that vital lead 4 minutes before half-time. And the New Zealander, Winton Rufer, scoring the second goal after 54 minutes. Monaco, for all their effort and all their neat football, have ended up with nothing. So a great moment then in the history of Werder Bremen. Sadness for these French players, but of course the real tragedy, not just of football but of life itself, came 24 hours ago in Corsica. And you have to put what's happened here tonight into the right perspective. But what a tragic week in all senses for French football. Monaco unable to become the first French club ever to win a European trophy. Mirko Votava, the Czechoslovakian-born captain of Werder Bremen, lifts the trophy high. And another new name goes into the European Roll of Honour. And with these scenes of great celebration here in the Benfica Stadium of Light in Lisbon.
with confirmation that the winners of the European Cup Winners' Cup for 1992 are Werder Bremen, 2-0 victors over Monaco, with these sad French faces in this tragic week for French football and football in general. We say goodnight.